you know, when we are actually working for our businesses, we lose track on or focus on our basic important aspect of valuation. So this is where I think all of us we need to focus and form a strategy, because I think strategy is very very important when we are actually looking at increasing the valuation. Now, one thing I have seen in most of the startups, uh, although the new generation is very much open to seeking advice or taking a coaching or having a mentor who gets involved with you in the project, but other MSMEs I have seen generally, they are not very much open to the new ideas. But I tell you, I have been a coach myself. Uh, there is no replacement of new ideas, and ideas you can get from anyone, even the shop floor worker in your organization, or the person who is supporting you on deliveries, even the delivery boys, they can be giving you the insights and the kind of uh, advice you need for your business valuation increase. And because they are the ones who are actually in touch with the customer, they are the ones who are actually looking at the customers in total. And that is where I think we all need to focus on. uh, we should be open to advice, we should always be open to new ideas, we should always have a thought process that okay, I'm going to you know get any idea which is coming into me through anyone. We should be open to that. And at the end of the day, uh, the whole objective of the business is to boost the profits. And the more profits you have, the more valuable your company will become. So the whole focus should always be on the profitability and how to structure your profitability projections and work towards achieving them. And of course, revenue. This is the bread and butter for everyone. So increased sales and lower expenses. We have some experts who have been into selling. Biswajit is here, who talked to us about how to increase your sales and how to manage that. He has a startup which focuses on selling itself, which is actually something you know uh, essentially required. And also, I think the most important thing is we must continue to invest and improve. Sometimes uh, the invest we become reluctant to put in our own money, because in the initial stages for all startups, they are working on a bootstrapped capital. uh, they are looking for seed capital. So they need to get into a situation where they must try and invest and improve their business continuous basis, and try and give your inputs, uh, your heart and soul to your business, and work on continuous improvement. Of course, this cannot be done unless you have a strategic plan. So we are going to discuss today how the planning should be done, what kind of business modeling is possible, what are the various options, how to create a funnel impact around your business, and then, of course, how to increase your sales. That's the key for business enhancement. And also, we have to develop a repeatable process to empower our people, and of course stand out from the crowd. That is the uh, basic essence of moving forward. So how you look different, how actually you create a situation that you develop a model where you are actually looking very different from the crowd. You are mm, so that is where I think we all have to focus on, right? So that is the key. Now let us look at the various business models which are there, where we can try and focus on. And now, if you look at the business models, the way the company sells your products to the customer, now we all know there are business to business models, which is called B2B. There is a modeling called business to C, consumer, B2C. Then there is a consumer to consumer, which is C2C. Business to government also is a big market, especially for startups. Government of India has recognized certain areas where you need to focus on. You can actually uh, uh, get contracts straight from the government for the for your business. And there are certain products which are reserved for the startups, and certain tenders which are reserved for the startups. So you need to focus on that. And then, of course, consumer to business, which is C2B, so to say. And we need to look at all these models and then form our strategy accordingly. Now, what is business strategy? No, Um one, of course, future thinking. You must try and imbibe some corporate culture into your organization, because sometimes, when you are bootstrapped, you are small, uh, you feel that I can do anything and everything myself, but that may not be possible, right? So you need to have someone who can actually bring in that kind of professionalism to your organization, who can actually bring in some good strategy uh, for your organization. And of course, you must have strategic intents also, because at the end of the day, if your intent is not very strategic, you may not be able to succeed in your strategic planning, or you may not be able to succeed in your business strategy. So you must analyze, you must do strategic planning, and then evaluate whatever you are doing. Uh, these are the areas which you need to focus on. And once you are very focused, then definitely the strategy can be, although all of us know what is all strategy is all about, but sometimes we get so bogged down in our business, day-to-day business, that we stop looking at these areas. So I thought, let me brush up and let us try to be more competitive. So when we look at the various types of strategies which are available, one, of course, competitive advantage. So we must always look at what is my competitive advantage. Uh, like, there are many players in the same market. Now these days, you see a lot of gaming companies have come up, like Rummy Circle, like many others. And they are all trying to woo the customers who are using the smartphones, and they are trying to build a business model around, some are around cricket, some are around some other games. But at the end of the day, their whole objective is to woo the customers who are smartphone players, and attract them to play the games. Now, in this segment also, uh, every day new companies are emerging and coming in. But what is the competitive advantage they have over each other? That is what I think they need to focus on. Similarly, in the delivery space, you must have seen the new fad of 10 minutes delivery. And now today only I was looking at an ad where somebody has put in an ad that, okay, you say bye bye to your fridge, we can deliver everything fresh to your doorstep. Now, all these are marketing gimmicks, of course, but at the end of the day, all these companies are working on their building their competitive advantage, and they are trying to build a business model around that. So I think that is the key, how you actually get into the minds of the customer, and how you take advantage of that. So because at the end of the day, it is all about selling, it is all about creating revenue for yourself. um, of course, cost advantage. What kind of cost advantages you can build around your business, and the market dominance. Now, this is again very important, because how you are going to dominate the market with your you know uh, products, and with the kind of business you are offering. If it is a service industry, the kind of solution you are giving to everyone to solve the problems. I think that is the key. And also, every time you must be looking for a new product development, and also keeping an eye on the market as to who are the other players who may be coming in, and trying to bring in a new product to the market. So this is again a very, very important aspect. Then you must have an eye on how, when to contract your business. If some business is not doing well, you can contract that bit and diversify into other areas. Now, this is a continuous exercise. So entrepreneur who has eye on the strategy will always have these kind of decisions, and can easily take them. You also must have price leadership, because at the end of the day, the customer is choosy about the pricing. So if you have price leadership, that's a win-win situation for you. You have a natural advantage of doing business. And also the uh, global market also one should look at. I was advising a corporate, and they were I think I used this example earlier also. They were naming their website in a local dialect, which international customer will not understand. So, if your vision is that to you want to restrict your business to a local market only, then it is okay. But if you are trying to create a business which is going to be scalable to the global level, from the beginning itself, you should have those kind of build those kind of domains, build those kind of uh, even your naming has to be very global, so that global customer can understand and relate to your product, and then they can buy your product. Also, re-engineering, and that is again very important. Downsizing, as upscaling is important. Similarly, downsizing is also very, very important. You must know when to downsize your operations if the certain operations are not giving you profit. But that can be done once you are actually looking at your profitability bit by bit. No, if you are actually aware that which business or which part of my business is not giving me profit. No, if you are not worried and you are just having a small software where you can just you are not worried about it. So then it is very, very critical that you must have a cost sheet of the product with you, so that you can actually decide where to downsize and what to if you have excess manpower in a particular area where business is not so much, you can look at those options, right? And delayering, I mean, sometimes you have too many layers in your organization which are not required, because the business model is such that you can actually do away with the those many layers. So here also you can take a decision. And restructuring, of course, is a very important aspect of business, so we must look at it. Now, why business models and business strategies are important, I think all of us are aware. So let me run you through this uh, slide. One, of course, what we are offering, uh, and whether it is sustainable or not. That is the important aspect, and then how we are monetizing it. So we must make a unique value proposition and create that kind of market attractiveness for our products. Because if that is there, then we can get good results. And of course, we must have a perfect profit model, uh, and sales performance model where we can increase our sale and create more and more revenue for us. Uh, and sustainability of the business is very, very important. So we need to have a ongoing competitive advantage, as we discussed. There has to be some innovation factor. We must avoid the pitfalls which will definitely come in the business. No business is a smooth ride. And of course, the graceful exit if we are not able to sustain our business model. So I think these are the very important aspects. So, you know, um, so before I move to business plan, may I invite any of you to express your views? We are a very small team today. So Atul, you would like to say something?
Yeah, so Rajiv, as you have rightly said that the basic fundamentals in doing business there that those need to be in place. So what we are talking about right now is basically that work your plan and plan your work. So first, work your plan means that your business plan that should be very clear that where is it which you want to go and how you want to go. So in terms of that, the path to profitability, the unit economics, the way you want to do the business, the total addressable market, but then you may not be able to address the total market. You may be able to address only a geography of the total market. So you should be very clear that okay, this is your goalpost. In 1, 2, or 3 years, you would like to reach at that point in time at this market, and then after achieving your share of business, after securing your share of business within that geography, then you can expand and go into the other areas of the geographies, be it in the other states or the, I mean, for example, if a business is set up in Western India, then probably you can look at concentrating your business to secure your business share of business in Western India before you talk about going to the Northern India, or vice versa. If you have set up a venture in Northern India, then serving a Southern India market may not be a good idea immediately. So first you have to excel in your own territory, and then you can then make a strategy to secure more share of business in the other territories and then scale up and all that. So these
Right.
are some of the basic things. So one of the only thing which I want to add is that in a journey of startup, when you have brought in your capital, which is a bootstrap funding, what is important is that at some point in time, obviously you would burn out your cash, whatever cash is there. Therefore, there would be a need to raise some cash after you have run out of your seed capital. Now, at that time, when you're going to raise that capital, the investors they do ask these questions that what is it which you have done from the bootstrap funding which you already have funded and what you have achieved. So the key thing for any organization, for any startup entrepreneur to explain is that they have to clearly, drill down to the last point in the business plan that this is how from where you started and this is where you are now and this is where you would like to be 3 years out as per your business plan. And if you're clear about that, then I think raising that capital would become that much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this case, one key thing is that most of the startups which we have seen in the market, I mean, let's talk about car trade or Paytm or Policy Bazaar or Nikes and all those, the big basically these digital e-commerce companies. All of these companies, they still have been struggling to find the path to profitability. You know, so no doubt that they have prepared very well in terms of preparing their business plans. The total addressable market is very, very large, but then they do not see the profitability coming in the next 1 to 3 or 4 years or 5 years. But when the profitability would start coming, maybe 5 years out, then the value which would be created from the businesses, that would be humongous. So therefore, the investors who are associated with them, they would remain committed and they would continue to be invested with those companies on longer period of time, because in the short term, it is volatility due to which the mark to market losses will be there. And in relation to this, therefore, what is important is that you should know that what is it is not the profitability which matters. You know, in generally in the finance language, it is said that profit sitting in the P&L account is a vanity. So profitability is something which is not important. What is important is that what is the cash?
Hmm.
Cash is a reality. See, business is not done based upon the profit which you declare in your P&L account. You say that the business is profitable, but if despite showing the profitability or the EBITDA margins of let us say 10%, if you are not able to convert that into cash, if you do not have the cash, then there is no use of that business, because the business would not be able to run just because they do not have the cash. So one of the key thing which Rajiv, I think we need to mention to all the and tell to all the startup entrepreneurs is that the path to the cash generation is not the cash to profitability, it is the path to the cash generation.
Yeah.
If the cash generation quarter by quarter is something which can be mapped out by the startup entrepreneur in the business plan, in the business model, in the strategy over the next 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 years, then to that extent it becomes very, very clear not only to the entrepreneur but also for any other outside world that okay, this is the business model, this is the way it has been built up, this is the way the profit would be generated, but then more important is this is the way the cash would be flowing in the business. So therefore the cash in the interim period is required in order to fund the gap between what is required to spend versus what is available in the business as a cash. So in relation to this cash profit, and then probably we would talk about in some conversations later on that what is it which is free cash.
Yeah.
Is a terminology called free cash. So we will talk about that as we move along.
Sure, sure. I think cash flow management is the key, and more awareness is coming about this as the businesses are growing, and especially this pandemic has shown to everyone that what is the importance of the cash management and cash flow management. So yes, surely Atul, very useful insights you gave. Uh, mm, Biswajit, anything you would like to add here? Biswajit? You want to say something on this subject, sales and revenue part? Okay, we move ahead. As you know, the business planning is very, very important. So, through this slide, I'm just trying to make a difference, because many people they don't understand what is the difference between business planning, business modeling versus business strategy. No? So if you look at this, uh, the picture itself is very clear that the outer layer is the plan or a vision part of it, which is the why part of it, why you are doing this business, right? And then what are you doing, and that comes your strategic part, that what exactly you are doing to create your business model, and then how you are doing it. That is where your business model and your value proposition comes in, and that is where your project, product, and service, they are very important. So you have other factors like market, industry, and the business environment, which are unpredictable. Like take an example of Sri Lanka. Now, recently, what happened in Sri Lanka? I mean, suddenly their economy tanked down, and the government also had to raise hands, and they had to leave their the prime minister has to leave the government for somebody else. So now imagine a businessman who is doing a business in Sri Lanka. Suddenly, if the environment becomes so bad, what will happen to them? So there may be so many businesses who have suffered because of this economic crisis or the so environment also has a very very big impact on the business model. I remember when there was a attack on attack in Mumbai, and there were many global delegations who were supposed to come to India. They all cancelled. So you know uh, all these small apparently small things, but they have a very very bigger ramification and bigger impact on the growth of the businesses. Apart from the environment, the external factors and internal factors of the organization, they also affect your business plan and business model. But as far as possible, we always should try to have a very uh, executable modeling. And now I wanted to explain through this slide how it works. What is the business plan versus business model versus the strategy. Now you can see business plan is how you are actually describing your future. You can actually predict that, okay, I'm going to make this much of revenue and this much of profitability, this much of my cash flow will be there out of this, and this is how I'm going to run my business. And also there are various resources available. So red ocean and blue ocean, we all understand blue ocean is basically based on the vision and hypotheses, and what is your present model and how you are going to take it to your future business model. So it's a continuous improvement exercise, and you need to have an executionist mindset, and also you must have an experimentation mindset for the startup. And basically we need customers and suppliers, both need to be taken care, and we are always kind of supportive to make sure that our business uh, you know plan as well as the overall model and strategy works. Now, looking at the business model and plan metamorphosis, I think there are many predictable factors, there are many unpredictable factors. Now, the organizational growth depends on how you manage those predictable factors, and also how you manage those unpredictable factors. So you need to shape your business plan in such a way that you take advantage of all the predictable and achievable factors, and also you manage well the unpredictable factors and try and do some risk mitigation and risk planning, so that you are always uh, you know uh, on the positive side, and ex- the exceptions can always be there, but at the end of the day, uh, the whole business is to make money, and your effort should be to maximize your returns from the business, and of course how you manage your risk factors which are there in your business, which you can visualize. So it is all about how you manage those risks very well, and those which are not only you can't visualize also, uh, even then there has to be risk mitigation strategy as to how you are going to manage those risks, how you are going to take care of them. Now, how strategy works, I like this slide very much. Basically, strategic management is all about plan and process. Strategic positioning is position and pattern, how you actually you know put yourself in the market. Strategic navigation is perspective and procedure. How you are actually creating procedures around your company, your business, and what kind of perspective you are creating, and play and ploy. These are the strategic tactics which are used in our day-to-day business. Many a times, business entrepreneurs, they are doing all this, but they don't sometimes document it. They don't even talk about it. Uh, but without strategy, no business can run. So we all need to put our heads together and move in a very strategic manner, and make sure that we have a growth pattern. And then the most important thing is strategy funnel, how you actually create that funnel, and how you create those environmental trends. So one, of course, on the market side, customers and benefits, then segment size and channel, which is very important. Then what kind of perceptual space we have, and what kind of value proposition we are giving to our markets. And on the industry side, it is all about strategic positioning. What is your competitive dynamics? How's your competitive space, and how is your overall industry structure? So all these factors we need to look at to create a strategic funnel for us, and also we need to articulate and execute long-term goals which are unique, offering unique value proposition to our customers. At the end of the day, customer is the king, as they say, and in Japanese philosophy, they say customer is God. No? So it is all about customer. Whether they are buying your product, they are actually getting attached to you, they are focusing on your product or not. These are the very important factors. Now, um, this is a slide which talks about change management. Now, I think most of you must have heard about that change management is becoming a very, very important aspect of business management these days. And in all companies, they are training their top level to manage the change management projects, because especially the pandemic has taught us how suddenly the changes can bring a lot of havoc in your business, and the way businesses have adapted to it, they have beautifully digitized the whole environment in a very short time. The way schools were run all on digital platforms, the way universities and other colleges also ran on digital platform, the way businesses were done, all employees working on teams and working from their homes. Uh, uh, this has a very positive impact as well as a negative impact as well, because one, many companies, they kind of zeroed down this idea that okay, if we can do it now, why can't we do it always? So there are certain companies who actually have shifted to 100% digital presence, and they say that you work from anywhere, so all our employees are will be working from home. so they have gone away with their offices. But there are other companies who are now coming back from the pandemic situation, and they are calling their people back. But I was reading a news item that 800 employees of White Hat Junior, who were all used to work from home, they were asked to come to office. They resigned. So this is also a new reality that people, they don't want to work in an office environment now, having enjoyed all this work from home culture. So so we all need to, as a leader, as a manager, we all need to understand what are the dynamics, how things are moving in the market, and as a strategic partner, we need to lead the change management projects in various companies. And uh, the typical project is, you make a request, then you register and assess the change, what exactly you want to do, uh, review the overall change management methodology which you have to follow. Uh, there are change logs, and of course, how you are going to implement that. So many companies have separate change boards and the project management team to work on it, and their whole concept is to give the stakeholders the different dimension of business, and of course to handle the problems. So now for all of us, it is very, very important to look at how's our competitive advantage. I think you know if you are very less competitive, you can always say, I don't know how to do it. No, that's a very easy answer. But because you are in your comfort zone, or you are happy with whatever revenue you are achieving, you are happy with your local presence. As Atul said, that if you are in North India, you may not like to go to South India because you want to first work on this market only. But if you have to expand your business, if you have to scale it up, if you have to become big, um, then you have to move out of your comfort zone. And we have many such examples of the companies which started from a very, very small, humble background, and they made it very big. We know Grofers, we know Oyo, we know Zomato, we know many such, Paytm, for example. What was Mr. Sharma? He was, running a small IT company, and suddenly he made the idea look very big. But again, after the stock market listing, this company is facing some challenges because they have grown very big, but now they are not able to maintain that kind of pressure which is there of the market to sustain their share pricing. So I think all of us, we need to be very always actively looking for business expansion. We should never get into a comfort zone, because the moment you say, I know how to do it, but let's let other people do it, no, uh, then you will not get into that winning mode. So so when you say, I know how to do it and let me do it, and and when you say, let me do it for you, that becomes more you know uh, meaningful, that becomes more challenging, and you become more competitive, and always try to put yourself in a pressure situation, whatever way you are running your organization. Because unless you are very focused, unless you are very uh, you know looking into new markets, like we in startup change leaders, we started with a small uh, idea of helping the startups. Now we are already uh, gone into registration of a company in UAE. We had a guest from Singapore. So like that, we are all trying to innovate and trying to expand our horizon. So how we create that company value grid? Of course, uh, we have the foundation stage, we have a seeding stage, we have a growing stage, and then of course we need to mature, right? So we need to understand the market. Need to understand the rules of the game, understand the culture, and fine tune our ideas. And then we need to talk to people, talk to talk about uh, to the investors and others, and create a value chain for the organization. And of course, we need to do channel expansion through our network, and also supply and value chain has to be established. And then of course support the stakeholders uh, by new investments, and create a value or valuation for the company, because the company valuation depends on so many factors. It is not only revenue of your company. As Atul mentioned, the free cash flow and the cash flow also is a very litmus test on the performance of your company. If you are just making profit, but that profit is just on papers, and it is not turning and resulting into cash, uh, and you are making cash burn, that also is not a very happy situation. So we need to all work towards uh, you know so let us look at how mature is your business model. We must, mm, when there is a startup, they have existent and business viability. Of course, is the first factor. Then, of course, comes your survival stage, where you need to survive that initial growth hassles, and of course, need to move forward. Then of course, how you achieve your success, how you accelerate your growth, and then it's a takeoff and maturity for you. So all the models, they are not they'll be on paper if we don't bring them on actually ground. So when we talk about these models, they look very fantastic, very fine, but at the end of the day, the entrepreneur should be open to the new ideas, open to implement those models, and at the end of the day, uh, uh, should always be looking for growth. So as you can see, as the graph goes up, your the total available cash is the key. If you have cash, you are the king. If you don't have cash and you are not generating enough cash, then uh, even whatever funding you may get, you may actually not be able to grow. So it is important that we become from micro enterprise to a medium enterprise, or from small to a large enterprise. And that is where, in that journey, innovation, early adaptation, the uh, the uh, cash factor is very, very important. And at every stage, you start with government grants. Don't overspend in the initial stage, but you need to be smart enough where to spend. Then of course you need seed funding and angel investor. Then of course venture capitalist, and then of course you can go to IPO and bring in more stock owners into your company, and give exit to those who invested in you in the initial stage. I think that's the key, how you move from idea to label. So this is a Japanese jargon, PDCA. I don't know how many of you heard of it. Plan, do, check, and act. No, so this is very, very important. I always, because I was trained there by a Japanese company, so uh, I always follow this. We must plan, we must do, we must check, and only then act. Although sometimes it leads to, uh, you know, lot of maybe sometimes the competitive advantage is lost because you are spending too much time in planning and checking. But whatever you are implementing, whatever you are doing it with all the inputs, and you always have a uh, perfect decision which is being taken. So we always be looking for opportunity. uh, we must explore what is happening. Then development and scaling up and launching is all part of it. So always try to uh, you know mm, move forward. So I thought to put this slide because how you would make your business thrive, because valuation will come only when your business will thrive. So one, of course, work-life balance, that makes sense. Share experiences, your knowledge which you have, leading to a broader perspective, and this you can share it with your network. Uh, Always have renewed motivation. Always keep on motivating yourself. Even if you are not succeeding, you should always have smile on face, and you should always be up and running. uh, Always be open to advice, because sometimes uh, we develop a habit that, okay, I don't need advice. But I don't think that's a very happy situation. We always be open to advice, and we should be willing to take chances, and always be quick to grab the opportunity, because opportunities are always coming. They are sometimes around you, but you must be quick enough to just have a look at the opportunity and grab the opportunity very quickly and early. And of course, achievement is the key. So we must have a proper sense of achievement. You must have financial rewards and freedom. Of course, personal satisfaction is also important. Whatever we are doing, we should put in our element of personal satisfaction in that. And of course, all of us need security. So we must first focus on how to create enough security for us, how to survive in the tough market, and how to actually gain confidence, and how to move in a structured way. And then, of course, the ideas are always there to help the personal vision, and try and move forward with confidence. So I just wanted to share this. So work with our business coaching tools to narrow your focus. So I think all of us, we should be open to the idea of a coach, and we should always be. I have seen even the best of the you know I am now these days dabbling into coaching also. I have Walmart as my one of the customer who is actually utilizing my services for SME development in SME space. So let me tell you, it's a fantastic journey. As far as I have seen many coaches also. They are open to getting coached by others who have a better experience and better knowledge. So we should always be open to the new ideas, and always have this in mind that we all have to learn. It's a continuous learning exercise we have to go through.